Okay, well, it's Sunday, May 31st. I've been out for a nice longer walk today. It's so beautiful. I was sitting over there on some rocks where you could see the skyline. I was actually going to shoot this over there, but too many people, too noisy, so I just said I'll just come sit off to the side. So I'm at Trillium Park, which is near RBC AMP. I've been doing a lot of thinking in terms of what I want to do for my direction in terms of my content, I guess, career. So the month of May was the most difficult month that I've had of my law practice since I started over 2 years ago. And that has actually nothing to do with money because the month of May was actually my fourth best revenue month since I started my business. So that's not the complaint. But all of my real estate files that I had basically just went south for reasons out of my control. Now, we got everything done eventually, but it was certainly a very challenging month. Basically, I had to continuously figure out how to solve complex problems for my clients on the fly. Totally new things that maybe I hadn't dealt with before, or variations that maybe presented more challenges. So on May 1st, I had a client buying a house separated from their spouse. They are getting a buyout through the ex-spouse's refinance. My client uses that money to buy their next house. Well, longer story short, from everything that I know about banking, money that moves lawyer trust to lawyer trust is not supposed to have a hold on it. And basically, the other lawyer did it by bank draft, and it was at a smaller town branch that I guess doesn't do as much commercial banking. And anyway, they put a hold on my client's equalization payment. And I was originally told that it would be for 5 business days, and I just said absolutely not. So I had to fight for 24 hours to get this hold lifted on my client's money so their house purchase could go through the next day. Phone calls, in person at the bank. It was a lot, but we ended up getting it done. My other crazy-ish file that I had was for a different client who, separating from their spouse, it was actually kind of the reverse. So my client was buying out the ex from the house through a refinance, and we had to push the closing date, I can't remember, at least 3 times, if not 4 times. There were just a lot of complications that were presented by the lender. It was almost like every time that I thought that we were getting close, there were these new conditions that I had to help figure out. So that one took a lot of time and energy for sure. And I remember on closing day, I had to go between multiple different banks to take care of different payouts. And it was a lot of work. So that one finished, I guess, about a week and a half ago. And the last one, so I was helping some clients buy their first house, and when I was doing the title search back in, I don't know, sometime in April, I saw there were 3 mortgages on the house, and that was my first time seeing that. And I remember I looked at the registered amounts, I thought it was kind of close to the purchase price. And then I found out the sellers were behind in property taxes. So I didn't think much of it at the time, but anyhow, the day before we were supposed to close a couple weeks back, basically I got a call from the seller's lawyer saying that they needed more time because the sellers weren't going to have enough money to do all their payouts. And anyway, it wasn't going to just be a 1-day extension. It was going to be a bit. And thankfully, my clients had a place to live, so it wasn't that big of a deal for them, but they still had some complexities with scheduled deliveries and so forth. And anyway, we had to extend by almost 2 weeks I gave a 1 week extension initially, and then we gave a second extension. So the clients just wanted it to go through so bad, and every time we thought we were gonna get close, there always seemed to be something that would come up. But we eventually did close on Wednesday, and it felt good to get that one done for sure. But I had to ask a question that I never thought I would ever ask another law office in my life. The next day after the closing, at about 2:45 in the afternoon, I had to call the seller's lawyer's office and ask the question, are you aware that your clients slept in my client's house last night? I'll never forget the gasp that I got on the other side of the phone. So, much longer story short, my clients went to the house in the evening, and the sellers weren't ready to leave yet, which happens sometimes when new buyers go to the house to move in. There's boxes on the driveway. It's not that big of a deal. It's nothing I've unheard of before. But I've never heard of the seller sells the house and then still sleeps there that night. I didn't know until the next day. My clients didn't tell me until the early afternoon of the next day. But that was certainly a new one, and one that, quite frankly, I couldn't really make sense of in the moment, but so I have to deal with that. I have a client scheduled to sell their house tomorrow, and then I can get a bit of a break from some real estate stuff, which will be nice. But I've taken the time today to kind of take some journal entries on my phone while being out on this hour walk, and I've basically decided that I want to make a massive pivot in how I create content. I think it will align with my interests and incentives more. I just need to start the pod and I'm not worried about the name. I thought about calling it Subject to Change, but anyway, it's basically taken, so I'm not doing that. So I think I'm just going to call it the Cody Malloy Podcast to start and let my audience kind of help me eventually name it, because I am struggling to come up with a name, and that's not a good enough reason itself to not be doing the podcast. So we're just going to start and figure it out from there. So that's the plan. And it's been super nice just being out to take a stroll today. I don't know if I will ever use this footage, but I told myself just take 5-10 minutes, shoot something, and you never know. So I want to start doing more BTS content. I think that it will resonate with people. I don't know who, we'll figure it out. Maybe people aspiring to build businesses, but that's one step at a time. So if you have made it to the end, thank you for watching. And I guess we'll see how I end up using this.